we're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today is Coffee Thoughts. We're here with coffee, tea, thoughts, and conversations. I'm here with my co host, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. She's producing the show, so you see her um, pressing some buttons back there backstage. I'm Carolina from California Cover Ups, and we're the Biz Chicks. And as you know, on Mondays, we often have guests. And our guest today is Miss Natalie Conrad, who is an organizing mentor. So we're going to present to others and introduce to you Miss Natalie Conrad. Hi, Natalie. How are you this morning?
Hi, everybody. I'm great.
Good, good. Francine, just a moment. Did you want to welcome the people watching on the replay?
Yes, we want to say thank you all for watching live, joining us on the replay. Sit back, relax, put your tray in its upright position, get a pen and paper, and prepare to be informed by our guest today. We're looking so forward to hearing this because,
Pardon me.
all of us want to organize. I am not going to show you
Hmm.
my room behind me.
Girl, all
Just
of this is someone else's behind me.
anyway, welcome to the conversation. Thank you for tuning in. And without further ado, Terry, go please continue.
Natalie, how are you this morning?
I'm doing fabulous.
Good, good. Can you tell us a little bit? Can you describe what you do?
Well, I have this magic wand. No, just
I love it. Can I borrow it? No. So you rent it out.
right. Yeah, I lend it out. No,
Okay. Okay.
no. I help people get organized, and not just their stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but more importantly, their habits.
Oh.
Because anybody can put something in 3 boxes and label them and put them on a shelf. We all could do that, but it's the habits usually that we lack in maintaining any kind of system we set up. There's tons of different ways to do the same thing, and it depends on your personality and your environment as to the best way to organize it. So I analyze that first. What's going to work for you, because what works for me might not work for you.
Mm.
So I analyze that first, and we may get a system set up, but I'm really for coaching people on the habits, because I've gone into places and we've done wonderful makeovers, just like on TV. And then I come back, they call me 6 months later, and I come back in, looks like I was never there.
Oh my God. That
Yeah.
sounds so familiar.
Yeah.
It's,
Because we need the habits. We all know how to do it. We need the habits. And
Mhm.
I really try to coach people along that way. In fact, I do offer online, on phone coaching, and a lot of people say, "Well, don't
okay.
you need to see my place?" And I said, "No, I just need to know about you and what you need to get done, and then we'll talk about systems and goals."
Oh, wow. Now
See,
that's a
I'm
different
already
approach.
I'm all in for this. Because you don't have to feel bad about your space and if it's crazy looking, and you can have a triage over the phone.
Well, here's
Yes.
another reason why I think this has worked for me, Francine, is because then I don't have to clean up before the organizer comes. I don't have to organize for the
Yeah.
You
A
know
lot
how you
of people
clean up
do that.
before the housekeeper comes?
Yes. In fact, when I go to people's houses, that's what I say. I say, "Don't clean up. I need to see how you live and see what you're telling me, when I go in person." But when I do it
Exactly.
over the phone, I ask a lot of questions. There's actually something called the time and space style inventory that we can use to determine their space personality,
Mm.
and how they like to
Mm.
do things. A quick example of that is in my office. I like everything cleaned off, clear desk, nothing showing. Of course, when I'm working, I got papers on my desk and all,
Hmm.
but I prefer to have it look streamlined, because if there's too much around, I'm too distracted.
Oh.
So everything is put away and cleaned off. But another person, they feel like they can't find anything if everything's put in the drawers, put in, the cubbies and whatnot. And they feel like they're disempowered if
Mm.
everything's behind the doors and they need stuff stacked up. That's okay. Both ways are right.
Uh,
Depends how
Mark,
you use it.
Mark, our resident comedian says, "I have made hoarding chic again."
Help us. Okay. Okay. Well, I just want to say that I like the idea. I had no idea that I had a space personality. Now,
Yeah,
you know
see,
what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm liking that. Tell us more about space personality because if our home does not look like Martha Stewart with everything
Yes.
particularly in a particular place or way, then maybe there's something wrong with us. But
Yes. If my
what am I
funk
hearing
doesn't
in the space?
sway.
Right, right. I just like that whole Martha Stewart approach. Look at us. All three of us have different hairstyles that work for
Hmm.
us, right?
Yes.
And so our organizing styles at home should be different. They don't have to be Martha Stewart's.
Oh, okay.
So
Mm.
let me give you an example of
Hmm.
personality. So when it comes to paper, paper seems to be everybody's nemesis, right?
Mm.
I used to work in mortgage banking, and so back before there were computers with mortgage banking, so there was all kinds of paper, right? We had to copy the files 5 times, and they were like 10 inches thick and all that. So I like paper. It's just something that I'm used to dealing with. But I like to give the analogy of there's 3 kinds of people when it comes to paper.
Okay.
There's the pilot, the crop duster,
Mm.
and the flight attendant.
Oh,
Okay.
do
Okay.
tell.
So the pilot is the person that makes piles on their desk or around their area for the projects that are going on or things they
Mm-hmm.
to. They got all these piles, and if you ask them to organize it, they'll start with this pile and just make another one.
Ah.
The crop duster is the one that loves to spread it all out, spread the wealth all over every surface in no particular order, just a scattering.
Oh.
And then the flight attendant is that one, when you go on a plane, where they get your drinks and things out of all those little cubbies in the front and
Yes.
back of the plane. And so
Uh-huh.
it looks all nice and clean and stuff, but you open that cupboard and stuff will come pouring out. So there's other people where you walk in, you go, wow, they're organized, or they don't need an organizer. And then you open that cupboard or that closet and it just barely shut, or that bedroom door just opens up, 12 inches so you can get in. And they like appearances. I guess that's more like the Martha Stewart appearance. It's like they want to keep it hidden because they have those expectations that they should be like Martha Stewart. But behind the doors, behind the cupboards, it's chaos.
Chaos behind
Mm-hmm.
the cupboard.
Yeah.
That's a book.
Yeah.
That is a book.
I know, right? I had one client when I was in her home and we were going through things. I always asked for a tour to kind of see what spaces we're going to work on and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
And she came to this one bedroom door that was shut. And she put her hand on the doorknob and she said, "Now, this is Chuck's room. I just want to warn you." And I said, "Okay." I'm thinking her son or somebody. And she goes, "This is the room when I don't know what to do with stuff. I chuck
I,
it."
I love it. I love
And she called it Chuck's room. And oh my gosh, we had a good time. It was great.
it. That is a winner. I may have to set up a room for Chuck.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah, we have room. We have drawers for people. I mean,
Yes.
just throw it over there. Okay.
I
Right,
think,
right.
and I
And you
think
know,
my garage is where my children think Chuck lives.
uh,
Uh,
right, right. Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what all of that stuff is that we process, whether we pile it or spread it or hide it or whatever, all of that really equals postpone decisions,
Mm.
things that you're undecided on, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Right.
too hard. Should I let it go? But what if? Well, maybe someday. All of those things are just postponed decisions. And
Wow.
I learned that from my mentor, Barbara Hemphill. And I mean, that's what it really all boils down to. And sometimes, one, we're busy women, we're busy, we have lots going on, especially if we're entrepreneurs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we get decision fatigue. We just, at the end of the day or in the middle of everything, we just can't make one more decision. I mean, we're go, 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 right? You come home, you don't even want to think about what's for dinner. So you eat
Okay.
apple because it's right there in front of you. Just don't want to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
So, decision, that's what people most need the help with at first is how to overcome one, decision fatigue, or what questions to ask. They don't know the question to ask of whether they should get rid of this or keep it. And
True.
so when I work with people in person and on the phone, I start modeling the kinds of questions that you need to ask yourself so that you can make that decision.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So,
Oh, I was
mm,
going to ask, so what was those questions? Sorry, Terry, go ahead. Well, no,
well,
because this is
yeah.
not a lightweight subject.
No, it's not.
Because we talk about having feng shui space and
Mm,
having this space all cool and everything,
Mm-hmm.
but getting there,
how do we get there? Yes.
getting to that place, we want it. It's the getting there, and I
Right.
guess it should be here. Um, and
Go
then
ahead.
Mark has a part of the conversation. He's saying, "I have an organization fetish. I love the container store and
Store.
all things organization. I buy many of the neat bins, containers, etc. for my stuff. Then I'm plagued with anxiety about what should be in them. So the products designed to become solution often become more of the problem."
Mm,
So you buy all
okay.
these containers, but now you're stuck as to, okay, what should go where? See,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that
that is a very common problem and can go all the way back to how retailers market their merchandise.
Mm,
Really, buying the containers before you organize is like putting the cart before the horse.
mm,
okay.
Because let's use the example of sweaters. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to the container store and I buy these sweater boxes for my sweaters because I think that'll look really nice. Martha Stewart would approve, or, I like organizing boxes, which, by the way, Mark, I'm the same way in the office supply store. I get all giddy over office supplies. I think they're sexy. So, yeah, but that's 'cause I like the paper, but and so we bring home those sweater boxes and then we start gathering up all of our sweaters and we may find we have twice as many sweaters as will fit.
Mm,
So then we have to decide, okay, now I need to get rid of some sweaters. That wasn't what we were thinking we were going to do. We thought we were going to just put them in the box and put them in the closet and look all nice. Well, maybe we don't have time for all that going through making decisions. The other thing is maybe I purchased the correct amount of boxes for my sweaters, but maybe they're not the right size to fit where I want them to go.
mm,
The
mm,
shelf is 12 inches and the boxes are 18 inches deep. That's not going to work. So it's best if you can do the organization and say, okay, I've got 12 sweaters. Now I'm going to the container store to get something, not that
oh,
fits
okay.
12 sweaters, but maybe that fits 15 sweaters. So the next time you buy the next sweater, you don't have to reorganize the whole project. And then you also go with the measurements of the space that you're going to put them in to make sure that it will fit.
mm.
Additionally, we have to think about buying containers as it could be a class. We also have to think about how often we are using the things that we're putting in the containers,
Mm-hmm.
because if it's something that I need every week and it's got this hard lid that's hard to snap on and snap off, then I'm
Yes.
not going to use the box eventually. So,
Mm.
those are the kind of things you have to consider: the location of where it's going, the quantity that needs to be held, and how often it's used, whether it needs a lid or not a lid, or, those kinds of things. So when we go and we find these gorgeous containers at the container store, we're like, oh, this matches my decor. Oh, these are just what I was thinking about for my sweaters. Yeah, it's great. But in reality, without doing the work beforehand, we don't know if the sweaters are going to fit.
That's a good point.
Wow. So we need to assess what we're going to be organizing and how much of it, and decide so that when we show up at the store, we know whether or not we're buying a trunk or a small carry-on. Okay.
Exactly. Yes, yes. We need actually not just assess, you need to do the sorting and the purging. Because if
Well,
you say, I have 25 sweaters, and you go out and get enough boxes for 25 sweaters that fit perfectly on the shelf, and the reality is you only use 10 of those 25 sweaters, then why are you caring for and maintaining things that you're not using? Life is short. You have this, you have that. The weight on us is incredible. Someone described it to me as, once she had done the sorting and purging and organizing, she described it as, I did not know I was carrying along a backpack full of bricks, and now I feel like I've taken off the backpack. It was always there. It was weighing me down. I felt some kind of weight, but I didn't know what it was. And
Wow.
now that this is all done, now I feel that it's gone, and it's like, oh wow, this is what it was.
wow.
And
That's
it's and you're literally bringing along with you what you just said about carrying and maintaining excess weight. You're caring for it and you're maintaining it, you're washing it, you're putting it away, but you don't really want it.
And
Wow.
a lot of people, when we talk about the excess, a lot of people go to that point where, I paid a lot of money for that. I don't want to get rid of it. It's
or
my
it's in
hard.
good shape.
It's in good shape, and I paid $85 for that pair of slacks. I am not just going to give it away. I want to sell it. Well, if you're going to sell it, you're going to get only 25% of the value, most likely. Then you got to take pictures of it, tell the size, the measurement, the color,
All of that.
you got to describe it. It's almost like putting on a show, right? And you got to take
Exactly.
the right pictures of it in the right light in
Mhm.
order to get it up on eBay or Facebook. And then if it's on eBay, then you got to make sure you calculate the right bid that will include the shipping, or you need to know how the shipping is. One time I sold something on eBay, and I lost $1 because by the time they paid for it and I went to ship it, I didn't realize how much the shipping was going to be. And I
Yes.
literally lost $1 and probably 3 hours trying to get that thing done between
See, that's the
putting it up
thing. It's the
online.
time.
See,
Yes.
I had that experience with eBay when I was trying to sell a clock. I mean, a clown piggy bank, a bank, and they wanted to know weight and measurement and da da da. I was like, I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
not doing that.
Well, you know
It was
what?
too much.
Here's what's also too much for me, Francine. It's donating stuff. I find that I want to donate the things, but I don't get the box in the cart to go. It was easier for me to just bite the bullet and put it in the trash because I wasn't following through, and the time kept, you know what I'm saying? We say the
Yes.
box is still sitting there. The box is, you know what?
Let's just toss it. So got a couple of comments here from Mark. One comment, he said, laugh out loud. I just bought 3 sweater boxes 2 days ago, and I'm also in a monogamous relationship with Stacy.
I love it.
I
I
love you,
love
Mark.
it. Oh my
And
goodness.
And then he says, there is often a what if poverty
Mm-hmm.
consciousness at the root of people's resistance to let things go. What if I get rid of it and then I need it? As if the ability to replace, if needed, will never be here again. And
Right.
that's true because that's one of the monkeys in the show in our brain
Yes, it
on the
is.
bicycle. You might need it again. Okay.
Well, you know something? I think it also comes from being raised by people who lived through different events. Some people were raised by parents, grandparents, whatever, who lived through the Depression. So everything had to be accounted for. Some people just have lived through scarcity. So everything had to be accounted for. Remember the little starving kids in Africa that your mother used to tell you about when you didn't clean your plate? And why we're now carrying extra weight? Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
And the whole thing, all of that, because as kids, we knew what something was wrong with that. We were looking at them like, and what does that have to do with us?
I don't know, but you know that smart answer. You know what that got you. Okay,
Yes.
so so you didn't have a comeback after the first time.
I,
Oh, yeah.
we were like, okay, you just ate the food.
She put that broccoli in anything, anything.
Okay, that
And
was
then you're
not
kind of
happening.
mad at the poor children.
It's just like what?
That was not going to happen. Now you
You
might
think
have
Right.
a conversation today, but you didn't have a conversation back in the
Right.
you
And
did
that,
not.
that does affect our society in a huge way.
right?
Because what if I need it again? So I
Mhm.
like to tell this story. I'm an organizer, so actually when I get rid of stuff all the time. I
Mm-hmm.
buy stuff too, but I get rid of stuff all the time. And the story that I have around that is one time I was going through my closet again, and I got rid of a bunch of clothes, including this black cardigan. And then, like a month, because I hadn't worn that cardigan at all. So about a month later, I was putting together this really cute outfit, and you know what would look great with it?
A
The
black
black
cardigan.
cardigan. And I started to get all mad that I had given away that cardigan, but seriously, I had not worn it for 2 years. And so finally, I just had to have a talk with myself, which I do a lot, and say, you know what, Natalie, it's just a black cardigan. You live 10 minutes from Kohl's, go get another one. You know,
Mm-hmm.
in the moment, I can afford another one. If I couldn't afford another one, I could just go with this cute outfit without the cardigan. You know what I mean? But
Right.
Yes.
we put so much value on the what if, you know, and it's again how we think about it. The
Mhm.
minimalists out there, the two guys that are the minimalists, their names
Yes.
Yeah.
escape me right now, but they had this rule that they made for themselves, and it was like, if I can get it in 20 minutes for less than $20, I'm gonna let it go right now.
Mm.
So, you know, if
Let's
you
think.
have something that you haven't used, and you can let it go and you can get it in 20 minutes from somewhere, either Amazon or the store near you, and it's under $20, let it go and let that thing bless somebody else who needs it right now.
Right.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Now, now,
I like that.
now
I
that
like that.
is a conversation right there, because a lot of stuff we can let go. There's a
Absolutely.
lot of stuff we can let go, and like you said, and get it again if we had to.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would, having the stuff where you're just going to have to toss it in the trash anyway.
Mm-hmm.
The clothes that we have gotten are so disposable now.
Exactly.
They don't last anyway.
No, so let them hit the trash. Let's
And
see what
and it
Brenna.
and they're trendy. When you buy things under a certain price, they tend to be trendy.
Mm-hmm.
Just let it
Uh,
go, folks.
so Brenna's comment is, I am an organization freak. I like the Container Store, but I don't buy things because it also takes time and work to keep it together.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And that is the hidden cost of our stuff. And a lot of people think, well, I might use it someday. Well,
Mm-hmm.
you've moved 3 times and you've packed it up 3 times
Mercy.
and you've never used it. That is your time and energy. That is that is money, that you can't get back either. Your time and your energy. And
Okay.
if we could shift our perspective to that instead of the dollar bill, then we could be more real about what we should be getting rid of.
So you have another chapter for the book, the hidden cost of our stuff.
Ooh, I like it. Did you
Yeah.
write that down,
Yeah, you
Natalie?
need
The
to write
hidden
that
cost.
down because Natalie, that's a chapter in your book.
The hidden
Yeah.
cost of our
The
stuff.
hidden cost of our stuff,
Yeah.
because there is the stuff that we got hoarded up in the rooms and whatever, there's a cost to keeping all of that. One of them is, like you said earlier, the weight that you're carrying along with that stuff, that's, for whatever reason you have the stuff. And maybe it was old Joe and he didn't treat you right or whatever, but you still got that crap in the corner
Mm-hmm.
from that relationship.
Mm-hmm. But
um
Francine, it also is costing us. You're in real estate. It is also taking up real estate.
Yes.
So then we figure, oh, I need a bigger place. It's like, I'll tear this down, build a bigger barn. You don't need a bigger place.
you just need to
You
get
need
rid
to
Yeah.
figure out what's going on with the space you're in.
of
A
right.
lot of people say, I need a bigger house. This house is
Mm-hmm.
too small, or I need some more closets, or, whatever.
Yes.
And don't get me wrong, if you've got some precious collections, like if you came in my house right now, you see I love baskets. So I got baskets throughout my whole house, and that's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm okay with that. But, to have a collection of one or two things instead of trying to collect 100,
Well, if you
then,
have newspapers and you don't collect newspapers, there might be something going on.
right. So I know everybody is hot on Marie Kondo right now, right?
Right.
The
She's
joy of tidying
the
up.
Oh
boy,
yeah.
yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And one of the things she says, and it's not new under the sun, but does it spark joy?
Mm-hmm.
So does this thing give me joy? Does this thing make me happy? When I was a little girl and I got a snow globe from Disneyland
Mm-hmm.
when I was a teenager, that made me happy. Now I'm an adult woman, other interests, other things, and I still got the snow globe from Disneyland. It's not bringing me joy anymore. That season is past. A lot of people are worried about, well, it reminds me of
Mm.
Disneyland, or it reminds me of this or that or the other thing. Okay, but is it keeping you in the past? Is there another thing that can remind you of this item?
Can we take a picture?
Yeah. Maybe take a
I'm all
Big
about take a picture.
I did that. I did that. My great aunt Lucy passed away in Virginia, and I'm in California, and I made it so that I got her 7-foot couch all the way to
Mm.
California with a moving van, and put it in my house because it was my aunt Lucy's, and I remembered sitting on it as a girl. That couch, I would not let anybody sit on it. You had to stay off that couch. It was like a trophy.
Like a monument.
Yeah, like a monument in my formal living room. Now I don't have formal anything, but at the time I was in my formal living room and no kids couldn't sit on it, and watch, don't sit there and all of this. That I was always I was babysitting it. The whole time it was in my house, I was babysitting it. And finally, not only that, 7-foot couch is hard to put in different houses.
Okay.
Every time we moved, I was having a challenge with the 7-foot couch. So finally, I did what she said. I took a picture, and I had a picture of my great aunt Lucy, and I put the two together, and I wrote a little story.
Okay.
And now it's still with me. I still
Mm-hmm.
have Aunt Lucy. I remember the couch in my head, but I also have a picture, and that couch went away.
Yay. We got
Yeah.
we got a couple of comments here that I want to get to. Brenna says, I agree with Mark. When I lived with my mom in shelters and such, we had nothing. I wanted my kids to have what I didn't. Then I had all this work, laugh out loud. I had said to myself, how much work do you want? I used to have 7 sets of sheets, but I realized 5 years later, I only needed 3. I donated everything and still purging.
I love it.
Then Mark says, Often people do not fully comprehend the power and importance of what Natalie is professing. When I have clients with financial problems, one of the first questions that I ask them is to describe their closets.
Mm.
Clutter is often a reflection of a block that inhibits flow and ultimately affects outcomes. Freeing yourself, eliminating clutter, unclogs the dam and increases flow. Nature abhors a vacuum.
That
Mm-hmm.
is so true. I live with the mental illness of chronic depression, and I went to a woman's house and she started talking about her depression and why she couldn't do her organizing. And, everybody's symptoms are different. And so I, divulged that I too have chronic depression. She was amazed. She said, I don't understand how you can have depression and be organized.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, it looks different for everybody. And you might not be in the place right now to work on organizing. You might need to work on getting yourself well. And how I manage is I have ups and downs. And so when the down is here, I know the down is here, and I'm not even going to try to attempt the organizing or working through the stuff because it's a fight. But when I'm in a good space, then maybe that's something I come back to and I work on.
Okay.
So a lot of people, the clutter is the wall of comfort or the wall of protection
Mm.
around them from past traumas and things that have happened to them. And as soon as you try to get rid of the clutter, like on those hoarding shows, you get rid of all the clutter because you just don't want your mom to live like that, then your mother or whoever the person is feels naked.
Right.
They have no protection. That was their armor. And so in that case, before you work with the clutter, you got to work with the mental stuff. I always say, I don't professionally work with with hoarders, because that's a special, unique set of skills. And there's a lot more training behind it. It's not just get rid of the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I did take on a person who was a hoarder once. And the reason I did is because she was already 2 years into therapy. And she recognized without anybody telling her that she was a hoarder.
Mm.
Oh, now that's a concept.
Yeah, we worked together for 2 months. We had giant estate-like sales, and different things. And getting through the clutter, we found carpenter ants were destroying the wood in her house, but she couldn't see it because all the stuff was there. So once we uncovered that, she got the house repaired. And 2 years later, I called her up and I said, I'm in your area and I'm going to ask you a question, but you can say no. I said, I'm in your area and my appointment canceled. I just want to stop by and see how you're doing, if that's okay with you. Because I didn't want to put that pressure on her, like, oh my gosh, the organizer's checking on me. And she said, no, come on over. I came over. She had new carpets. She had a new little dog. Her house was no longer hoarding. She hadn't, gone back to it. And it was great, but that's because she was ready. Just because somebody's living in a mess and they need to get it cleaned up because for health and safety reasons, I totally understand. But if they don't understand it, it's not going to work.
Wow.
You can out of that house and they'll do it in the next house.
Yes.
So we have another comment from Mark. Some of my family members no longer sparked joy, so I put them on eBay. Unfortunately, others don't want them either.
I hear you. Sometimes you just have to detox, Mark.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it.
And Jay said hello. Hi, Jay.
Hey Jay, how you doing? Oh my goodness. So I'm gonna ask you this. How did you get started, Natalie?
That is a God story. That is a wonderful story.
Well, we have a few minutes. Can you give us the
I'll give you the
Cliff
Reader's
Notes?
Digest version.
Yes.
My first husband and I were divorced, and one of my children went to live with him. So that child would come every other weekend to my house. It was my weekend, and he was 16. And he said, Mom, I don't think I'm going to come. I got a headache. I don't feel good. So Mom, drink your fluids. Call me later. No problem, right? Then he calls and says, Dad's taking me to the emergency room. Then his dad calls me and says, I think you better get over here. They're scaring me. They're talking about a CAT scan. By the time I got to the hospital, my son was in a coma.
Mm.
Turned out he had spinal meningitis.
Whoa.
And they said, the first 24 hours will tell. Well, he didn't wake up till 3.5 days later. And by that time, they had cultured the bacteria and told me he had one of the worst strains and had 20% chance of survival. But when that boy woke up, he was like a newborn. He needed to learn to speak, to walk, to play basketball, to count change, everything. So I had to take a leave of absence from work. And through all of these doctor's appointments and therapies and things, I had the chance, the luxury to read books again, because as a working mom, who does that, right? And I got this book that was called Dream Giver by Bruce Wilkinson. He's the one that wrote The Prayer of Jabez. I don't know if you're...
Oh, okay. Yes, I have that book.
So I read that book, and it's like a fable. And the moral of the story is you have a gift. And how you use it or don't use it is up to you. So what are you going to do? So I thought, well, what would I do if I could do it and not get paid for it and find joy in it?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, I'd organize people. And then I thought, who does that? That's not a career. This isn't working. That I would make me happy, because I'm a military brat, moved to 10 schools in my 12 schools. So I got the moving, packing, purging down. And I like it. So Austin's at home going to rehab every day, and I go on the computer looking up organizing and careers, and I find out there's professional organizers. Find out there's an association, the National Association of Professional Organizers. And then I find out they have a yearly conference all over the United States. They move all around the United States. That year, it was in the next 30 days in San Diego. I called my mother and asked her if she'd come and sit with my son. And I went to that conference, came home, got my business license in 2005, and went on about it. I even relocated to a new city and started it all over again.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing, Natalie.
Yeah. So
that
I never went back to the job that, I took the leave of absence from. I just read that book and I said, what can I do? I want to work at something that is joyful for me.
Wow.
Kind of that's where those of us that are entrepreneurial, I think we've tapped into that spirit of, you may not have written the book, but it's like, I want to work where I find joy.
Yes.
And if it's not with a company or an association or organization, then how can I do it by myself?
Yes. I want to do something that makes me smile.
Mm-hmm. that was good.
That was good.
That is very good. Now, we all need to be able to tap into that. What does make you smile? What makes you smile? What's that thing you're called for? And that's what we're here to help you do. Once you do that and you need help on with the business side of things, maybe you don't know how to use your tech, or maybe you don't know what to do about your database, and just basic business stuff. Mm-hmm. That's where Terry and I come in. Right. We'll help you with all of that stuff. This is just astounding. And you need to write a book, Natalie, because I know Marie Kondo wrote one, but you're not Marie. And you have some really couple of good points that I heard about is the stuff that's holding us back. What is the real cost of the crap in our house? Mm-hmm. And you know what I mean? Because a lot of times we don't look at it on that wise.
No, we just think dollars and cents.
Is the crap in your house making sense? Okay.
And it's not. It's just taking up space, and now you got to
You
dust
know
it
what I mean?
and maintain it. And
And here's the other thing: if you can't remember what's in that box, you probably don't need it.
exactly, well, you did it. And you got stuff up in the rafters in the garage, and you
Girl,
got stuff at
please
the top of the closet, and stuff that you
help
know
us.
you're not using.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to
Help
dust
us.
it every day.
Mhm. Well, I do want to ask you this, Marie, because we don't want to keep our audience long on Mondays because we're really
Got to
we're
go to
supposed to,
work.
Yeah.
yes, we want them to go back to making money. Okay, so here's the thing. What can you share one tip with us to help us get organized? What would you say to someone who wants to get organized?
One tip.
Mm-hmm. How about call me? What's your phone number?
Think about where you want to be in 5 years. Where do you want to be in 5 years? Write that down and look around you and see what supports that.
Okay.
That's good. So I got a couple of more comments here, Terry, before
Mm-hmm.
we.
Okay.
Brenna says I watched Marie Kondo's series on Netflix. I made my boys watch too, especially with the one with kids. Now, if the room is not to my expectations, I make them watch it. I'm not scolding anymore.
Interesting.
Hmm. And then she also says, I'm happy with the size of my house because I refuse to clean a bigger space.
There you go.
And
Right? I
I'm
want
on
an even
board with
smaller
that, Brenna.
house. Yeah.
you know that whole thing about I want a mansion and all of that. You got to have somebody to clean it. Either you're going to clean it or you're going to have to call somebody in.
Well, I never aspired to be the wife of a house. I never did.
Exactly. And even if you have the money and the wherewithal to hire everybody for that house, I'm going to go back to the mind. You are still managing that back up in here. You are still taking your time. You might not be holding the brush, but you're still taking your time, making sure things get done, making sure people got paid. That's all your time too, even though you're not
Right.
doing the job.
And a lot of people want the extravagant and the all of that, but that's work.
That's work. It's a lot of
That's where I
extra.
live. But hey, that's just me. I'm just saying.
I'm not.
So, is this where can we find you online, Natalie? Or if we want to take advantage of your services, how do we contact you?
Um, Two ways. I'll give you my email and my phone
Okay.
number.
Okay.
My email is Natalie
Mm-hmm.
at natalieconrad.com.
Mm-hmm.
And the phone you can reach me at is 916 607 7496. Again, 916 607 7496. And I'd be happy to talk to you about phone coaching and all the other services I offer.
Great.
Okay, you're going to need to give me that phone number again because I'm actually typing it in 916.
607 7496.
Okay. All right. So I put that in the chat so you all can reach out to her and
Book an
give her a call,
appointment.
book an appointment, get a consultation, start the triage process.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
get this party started.
Right.
Okay.
And I'm
Give
like,
yourself your time back.
Yes. Your time and your money.
Mm-hmm.
in your sanity.
There you go.
Right. Thank you, Natalie. Appreciate you taking the time to have a conversation with us today. I am so looking forward to the next time we have a chat. This is a good conversation. Anybody in here want her to come back, let us know, and we'll get her book her back in here and talk specifically about organizing that whole
Okay.
Yeah.
thing, organizing your mind before you organize your space. I think you got a book there.
Wow. That's beautiful. I like that, Fran. Get a hold
Thank
to
you.
your mind before you get a hold to your junk. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
And
Natalie.
then Mark is funny. Go ahead, Terry. Mark is talking about step around and over your clutter and go to the front of your.
Which is exactly where we're going.
I love it. Love it, Mark.
So, guys, remember, tomorrow's Tuesday. We'll be talking social media with TJ all the way from New York City. So don't forget to tune in. And Francine, I love you, girl.
Thank you, Natalie.
Thank you, Natalie,
Bye,
for
Thank
ladies.
you,
joining us.
everybody watching live and on the replay. Appreciate you. Loretta, good to see you.
And guys, don't forget to go to the front of your own line. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.